He created man in his image, right? And his likeness. And before he created man, there was a consensus meeting. Let us make man. There was a consensus meeting with the Godhead. Now, if he was going to
a complex project.
if he was going to alter it, he needed consensus to make it happen. And that's how language was taken, and that's how the Babel project was put on hold. So, what I'm trying to say is, and you can relate this with the Manhattan Project too. The destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a complex project. There was a lot of sensitization done to the people, that is the Japanese citizens, to tell them that, hey, we are coming on this day, on this time, we're coming around very soon to destroy this thing. This is a bomb that you have never seen before. It will totally annihilate. We don't even understand the impact that it will come. Please go and hide. If there's a bunker, please hide in a bunker. Do this. They were dropping leaflets and sending radio communications to the Japanese, because the Americans wanted the war to end, or should I say the Allied forces wanted the war to end, but they felt that the war would not end with the kind of honor perception of the Japanese. They were going to fight till every one of them. Even at that time, the Japanese king, I don't know, I think they were a king or a prime minister then, I can't remember. The premier, I think, is a king, because it's after then Japanese became a democracy. It's after the war. Was tired, but he could not come out to say he wanted to concede to the battle or defeat because of the orientation of typical Japanese. He couldn't do it. You know, Japan, they were already doing, how many of us know there's this term. I forgot. It's an important thing. You see this thing that we call suicide bombing. There's a Japanese word for it, Kawasaki or. So that time in the war, because Japan.
Oh, I know it.
Yes.
Because something bombing, where
yes.
their pilots would
yes.
take planes into.
Yes.
Kamikaze. Yeah.
So when you hear the word kamikaze, I know some of you in Nigeria use kamikaze on the control level. You don't know, or you listen to rap and you say I'm going kamikaze. You know what kamikaze actually means is a suicide death. So what they were doing is Japanese pilots were flying their planes. Why were they doing that? Japanese pilots were flying their planes to destroy Allied forces anywhere they saw the gathering of Allied forces. And why were they doing that? You see, the Second World War II, the First and the Second World War, if you read history very well, was predicated or was fought on one life source: energy. It is not energy that they were fighting for, but the difference between who won and who lost was a result of
how much energy.
So at that time, Germany was lacking, and they were not about to start distributing to Japan. America cut off export resource to Japan. In terms of course, I can't be fighting you and be giving you oil. So Japanese planes did not have the requisite fuel to fly, go and drop bomb, and then come back. They did not have that luxury. So what were they doing? They would train their pilots minimally on how to just fly and then target the enemy. And to get maximum impact, they just carry the plane like that and plunge into their left. Kamikaze. So you can understand the mindset of the Allied forces that if these people are so determined to die, this war is not balanced. There is a difference between the incentive for a soldier who is going to war with the intention of going back home, and a soldier who is going to war with the intention of we are going to die here. The output is not the same. So on that basis, in terms of will, the Japanese had stronger team strategy than the Allied forces. So the Allied forces needed to end that. They needed to break that will. Hence, the invention of
nuclear bomb.
2 times we have mentioned will here. Babylon story and the destruction of Babel story and the destruction of Babel Tower. Now,
yes, sorry. The construction of Babel.
Yes.
The destruction of Babel.
Yes.
The
ending
German, Japanese allied mission needed a will.
Yes.
And the destruction of that alliance also needed a stronger will. So, I mean, there can't be any teamwork without the will.
Yes.
There can't be any teamwork without the understanding. Stanley, you wanted to say something. So.
Okay, it's
Then we'll take your second point.
You want to project?
Okay, you talked about the Tower of Babel and how God, decided to, create discord between man, and then he introduced language.
Took language.
Yeah, he took the
Mono
language. I feel there could actually be a purpose to that, not only because he's trying to create discord, because he can simply take away the oneness, and then the project will not go on. And creating that multilingual could be because man was functioning, because there is this uniformity in terms of language. Man was not dispersed.
No,
that's a way to see it. This
wanted man.
See,
he wanted people to spread.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe like multiplying
Yes.
this unity that you have gotten. Good. So if I scatter your language, then you would have more clusters of people. So there will be more Babel projects.
Yes, because if man continue to grow and domicile in one place, it's going to be.
Remember, the focus here.
And then they've not really advanced in terms of medical science. So God actually wanted man to disperse.
No, see,
that
cool down.
Actually one of
the issue here is not why we're not discussing
the narrative that the Bible gives. Make it look as if it is because of the Tower of Babel. If whatever man.
No, of course.
They weep.
Yes.
But that's not the narrative that Bible.
Hold on. The Babel project. So sorry, bro.
No, let me respond. That's not the point. Why God, whether He wants them to stay in one place or He doesn't want to stay in one, that's not the point of the conversation. I'm not trying to do a Bible study. It's an important story. Read it for yourself and get the juice. My point is, they came and they wanted to do something for themselves. Remember when I was giving you the story, I said they were tired. There was trauma. They were already traumatic about Noah's experience. Scripture actually said they were just moving about the earth. And they came to a point and said, no, stop. Let's, first of all, encamp here, build a city for ourselves, and then let's
see what's up there.
Let's build it up.
Into the heavens.
Let's build it into the heavens.
So even if the project was
no, with Stanley, wait. So we're not discussing Bible study. So whether the issue is whether God wanted people to scatter. The point, the crux of my conversation here is that
people came together with a will.
People came together with a will to build a complex project. Let's go up. And God came
with a will.
To destroy
that plan, which was also the destruction of it was also a complex project. So whether the
I remember I already pointed out that He did not touch the oneness of their mind, the ability for the human spirit
to still come together.
He didn't touch it. What He took away, I will suspend this easy cooperation. Which thing that is making people make it so easy for you, I'm going to disallow it. And he took away the language.
So in a nutshell, I think where we are going is we're picking the archetype from the story. If you've even gotten my language, I am not one that believes that the story is a true story in the first place. Does not stop the validity and the moral from the story.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to extract.
So I mean, if I was in a church and I was preaching, I will encompass why God did it, you know. But what I want to tell you is that all God has been identifying. I see that they have two things. They said they have one language, they have one mind. And anything they set their mind to do, they will do. So on this point, we are going to spoil this thing. We will not let this happen. Of course, the issue was the command is multiply and fill the earth. You have multiplied. You want to stay in one place. It doesn't make any sense.
Actually, if you read the Bible very well, the reason why they wanted to build that tower is because they felt they were scattered.
So, like I said, let's not discuss the Bible part. If we go into the Bible part, then I will also bring the part of the fact that Abraham's father worked with Nimrod at the time, and it was clearly established that this person is Hebrew. Nimrod was not Hebrew. So there was not the oneness of that thing. There's clarity that oneness was not exactly how we are saying it. So let's not go into the complexity of
let's not discuss, let's not do eschatology and theology. Let's take a story and then let's develop it. But of course, you can see that the intent of man was not the intent of God. Just as the intent of the Nazi was not the intent of the Allied forces. But both there was competition of intent and will.
And they needed people.
And they needed people to execute their intent and will. That's what necessitates team. That's what makes teams important. That's what makes you want to involve another person. The business of building another, the business of building things that are complex, you need teams to do it. That's the whole point.
And there's no advancement of the human race without addressing complex projects. This is as simple as that. Everything that is making us sit in this room are complex ingenuity.
Yes.
From if you are wearing 100% cotton, for instance, from the planting to the picking to the sorting to the stretching to the making of this thing to the person that just bought it as linear to who now put it together, this thing, they are all complex things just for you to look this good, right? So for advancement we need complexity. For complexity to be solved we need teams. Individuals can't solve it. I think that's the first point to you.
Second point why we need to build teams is because of the kind of results that we get from it. You know, you stole the one can chase 1,000 and two can chase 10,000 narrative. You see, the very word synergy was born out of the multiplicative effect of joining two persons together with one will. The output is not the sum of their individual strengths. The output is usually a multiplicity or multiplicative effect of the individual strength.
So let me repeat this thing. The output is not a sum of their individual strength or energy. The output is a multiplicity. So he has already used a different term to explain the arithmetic and the geometric progression that I said. Arithmetic is 1 plus 1 is 2. So if both energy is 7, the output is supposed to be 14. But because it is not arithmetic and it's geometric, or it comes in it has a multiplier effect, the output can now be 25,000 or something like that.
So remember, one reason to make things is because, well, this is the only way known to humanity to bring about to solve complex problems. Now the second reason why you need to have things is because of the kind of output that you want to have. If you want to have very little output, you can do it alone. If you want to have transgenerational, international, intercontinental, global, you need to work
with a team.
With teams.
I don't know how many people would want to watch a football match for 90 minutes with just one person.
It's not interesting.
So you see that the effects are what does a bunch of war illiterate scientists have to do with winning the war? And what does a nuclear illiterate general have to do with designing a bomb? But you see, the Manhattan Project comprises of scientists, politicians, and generals. It was led by a general. The general did not know I don't think he knew one line of physics. It was not necessary anyway. But he was in a team that finally developed the atomic bomb. And funny enough, Albert Einstein was not in that team. Not they. As strange as it is, with all the reasons he gave to him. Probably his theories were important, but he didn't make the atomic bomb. The scientists, there were two very critical scientists in America.
I think it was also good historically that he was not involved.
He tried to be kind of neutral. Yes. Okay. It was good because of
posterity.
But there is revisionist history that always Einstein will not suffer in hell. He didn't do it. His whole role was just because he was a celebrity scientist.
Yes. So they needed him to get the politicians
and say and do a description for the people to say a presentation to say, oh man, this thing is good. Are we talking? So.
Yeah. Yes. I can.
I have this question to ask. How can a person be appointed to a group? Is it by physical appearance or by the nature of the? Let me just put it this way.